So you've chased after a woman until you basically turned into an emotional zombie? You did it all. Became Prince Charming, the flower delivery dude, the free therapist, the 24/7 self-esteem ATM. All for what? To get ignored like a pizza flyer tossed on the sidewalk. Congrats, champ. You just graduated with honors from the University of Persistent Suckers. The truth, most guys have taken that kick where it hurts. And weirdly enough, they keep thinking that if they try just one more time, put in a bit more effort, be a little sweeter, maybe juggle flaming torches, she'll finally turn around and say, "Wow, what a beautiful effort. I'll give him a chance." Spoiler, she won't. While you're sending her cutesy good morning texts at 6 a.m., she's busy testing you, ignoring you, or better yet, flirting with a dude who barely remembers her name. Because in the circus of modern romance, the less you care, the more intriguing you seem. Is it unfair? Yes. But guess what? Life's not fair either. Today the clown show ends. No more sappy paragraphs, no more soap opera drama, no more motivational coach speeches in a soothing voice. Today, you're gonna learn that your most powerful weapon isn't forced kindness or a good heart. It's indifference, buddy. Cold, precise, deadly. No more being the eager puppy wagging its tail time to become the riddle she's dying to solve. This video is for anyone sick of being someone's whatever in life. It's for those who refuse to stay a background extra in someone else's telenovela and want to step into the leading role with that unbothered face that's seen it all. It's not about being a jerk. It's about being immune to emotional manipulation disguised as charm. But before we dive deeper into this reality check, here's the deal. This video exists because someone less lazy than you liked, subscribed, and commented. So do your part, you digital parasite. Click that subscribe button, give it a like, drop a grateful comment, or, I don't know, a random fire emoji. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm. Because that's the only way this content will reach more lost souls who still think over-the-top niceness is hot. Enough chit-chat. Let's get straight to the point. Number 1. The Great Illusion of the Effortful Guy, or How to Be an Emotional Doormat 24/7. The effortful guy. This mythical creature who wholeheartedly believes that if he just tries hard enough, she'll eventually realize he's her one true love. Spoiler of the day, she won't. But hey, props for the enthusiasm, hero. He's the king of daily texts, the grandmaster of constant availability, the world champion of good morning princess, even though he's been left on red since the Stone Age. He thinks he's building a bond, but what he's really doing is taking an intensive course on how to get ignored with style, because over-the-top effort doesn't scream love. It screams neediness. It screams, hey, look how insecure I am. Please validate me because I can't do it myself. And guess what's less sexy than a soggy slipper? That right there. You think you're being sweet, attentive, present. She thinks you're clingy, predictable, and probably have no life of your own. And then the magic happens. She takes the emotional throne, and you become the court jester, sending memes at 2 a.m. hoping to get any sort of reaction. The most ironic part? The guy who replies whenever he feels like it shows up once in a blue moon, who's too busy actually living his life. He grabs more of her attention. Not because he's some supreme being, but because he's an enigma. And we humans, my friend, are suckers for what we can't figure out. Showing interest isn't the crime. The crime is acting like that's all you've got. That your life is basically waiting for a reply from her. And that kills any attraction. She notices you orbit around her, and instantly wants to run to the other side of the galaxy. So if you still think being an emotional golden retriever is the key to winning her over, you might want to update that mental software. In the game of desire, it's not the loudest who wins, it's the one who knows when to shut up. And that, my friend, is where the psychology of disregard steps in, where silence becomes a roar and absence becomes a presence. But that's our next slap in the face. Number 2, the psychology of disregard, or how to disappear and cause more damage than 1,000 sappy paragraphs. Listen up and grab your little notepad. Disregard, in this context, is not being a random jerk or cussing her out on WhatsApp or turning into some second-rate narcissist. It's an art, a tactic, an emotional strategy for anyone who's had it with being the clown in someone else's circus. Disregard means people expect you to react. And you do what exactly? Nothing. Silence. Cold as ice. You basically become a Zen monk with the chill of a professional emotional hitman. Why? Because the human brain, that melodramatic little organ, freaks out over silence and uncertainty. It needs to fill the void. That's when the game starts to shift. Want to be remembered? Disappear. Want to be desired? Become a mystery. Because the man who's always right there wagging his tail is the first one to get tossed aside. But the man who seems to live in a parallel universe where she's not the center of it all, that guy becomes an obsession. Why? Because desire doesn't grow from certainty, you naive romantic. Desire grows from doubt, from scarcity, from absence. Do you want to be a t-shirt on clearance or a Rolex locked in a vault? Because, spoiler, no one chases what's in endless supply. Scarcity works miracles, buddy. And before you start whining, but I want to be authentic and show my feelings. Great. Keep being authentic while people use you as an emotional step stool. Because while you're pouring your heart out in 10-paragraph texts, the other dude, who vanished mysteriously for 3 days, is living rent-free in her mind. Smart disregard doesn't hurt with words, it crushes with silence. It doesn't demand explanations, doesn't beg, doesn't justify. It simply isn't there. And when you go AWOL without any drama or meltdown, you become that puzzle her ego's desperate to piece together. And that's where you win. In that void of confusion, as her ego tries to figure out what went wrong. Suddenly, you're not Mr. Predictable anymore. You're an enigma. And enigmas, in case you missed the memo, are way more interesting than cutesy notes on WhatsApp. Hang tight, because our next round is all about her ego going into panic mode. And oh, it's a blast watching that silent implosion. Number 3, when you disappear, her ego screams, "Help!" and you watch with popcorn in hand. Disappearing, my friend, isn't cowardice. It's an art form. It's a masterclass in, look how perfectly fine I am without you. And no woman's ego can handle that. Because think about it. She was up there, all high and mighty, with the remote control to your emotions, pressing respond and watching you scurry over. Suddenly, you ghost out. Total silence. Her brain goes into the blue screen of death. She might pretend she's unbothered, posting smiling pics, doing silly dance routines on her story, captioning them, "Life goes on." But inside, pure chaos, because her brain wasn't programmed to handle a broken pattern. You used to be predictable. Now you're a mystery. Her anxiety doesn't come from missing you. It comes from the terror that your absence might be permanent. Here's the punch no one told you about. A woman doesn't miss you just because you vanished. She misses you when she realizes you might not come back. When it finally dawns on her that maybe this little game ended and she lost. That's when emotional hell breaks loose. Stalking your stories, rereading old chats, trying to remember exactly when she lost her grip on you. This is where the weak man slips up. He feels lonely, thinks his strategic disappearance already worked, and returns. Sends a big heartfelt text. Restarts the cycle. Congrats, you just flushed all the impact you created down the drain. Back to square one. The emotional clown who can't handle his own silence. But the man with backbone. The one who knows it's a game of patience, not desperation. He lets her ego crumble. She'll reach out. She'll try to figure things out. She'll lower herself to moves she swore she'd never make, because her now imploded ego needs answers. But hold your horses, warrior of emotional darkness. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. Flipping the script is one thing, keeping control is where the real glory is. And that's where the next phase kicks in, using that absence as a lever to boost your own worth. But first, let's stop pretending you're okay being someone's emotional doormat. Tired of being the guy who says thanks for scraps of attention? Then check the description. There's an ebook waiting for you, an anti-humiliation manual, a slap in the face in digital format. You'll learn how to be a challenge, to stop begging for respect, and most importantly, to live a life where her opinion isn't your oxygen. Because the world doesn't pity those who crawl. Either you stand up and take charge, or keep on licking the ground she walks on. Pick one, because your dignity is knocking at the door. Number 4. The game shifts when you disappear with purpose. Or, how to crawl out of the emotional grave and come back as a luxury ghost. Vanishing on a whim is for whiny teenagers who didn't get attention for 5 minutes and want to stage an affection strike. But disappearing with purpose. Oh, that's next level. That's the art of slipping out of the party without telling anyone, and still making everyone realize you're gone. Especially her. If you disappear while secretly crying, hoping she'll rescue you with a sweet text. Congrats, you're still that emotional puppy begging for treats. But when you disappear with ice-cold resolve, focus, and a jam-packed schedule of, I got more important stuff to do, now the script flips, hard. She no longer thinks you're just throwing a tantrum. She senses with a silent punch to the gut that you genuinely aren't operating on the same emotional plane anymore. And if there's one thing a woman's ego hates more than silence, it's being swapped out for your peace of mind. Because guess what? Her ego doesn't just want attention, it wants to be the center of your universe. And so begins the horror show. She'll stalk your social media, check your stories like a crime detective, look for signs of life, and all she'll find is you, calm, happy, smiling, living, no drama, no whining, not even a hint like, ugh, I feel so lost without you. That, my friend, is the real torture, and is the real. You don't need to announce you've moved on, you show it. And the ultimate irony? While she expected you to be holed up in the dark listening to sad songs, you're out there looking zen, probably hitting the gym or rocking a sunset pic. The gulf between what she expected, you sobbing to Adele, and what she sees, you peaceful, productive, unreachably chill, is the real punishment for her ego. That's the so-called shadow effect. You're no longer physically present, but your absence weighs a ton. She notices the missing good morning, the silly sticker you used to send, the presents she took for granted. And now you're a mystery, an emotional ghost haunting her thoughts effortlessly. You've evolved from a needy puppy to a seductive enigma. Congrats, the script has flipped. But don't pop the champagne yet. Keeping your new status demands more than just vanishing. It demands mental prep, elite level chill, total mastery over your own neediness. Which leads us to the next step. How to become so emotionally bulletproof that petty emotional tricks and mind games from someone who thought they had you on a leash bounce right off. Let's go, because the next step is the tastiest. Training your coolness until it becomes your signature fragrance. Number 5, how to train your emotional coldness. Or how to become a fortress against neediness and cheap emotional blackmail. Emotional coldness, my good friend, isn't some inborn gift. It's not genetics. It's training. Discipline. It's you sweating bullets from wanting to send that big heartfelt text, but choosing silence with the zen of a monk who just witnessed the end of the world and yawned. Most men fake it on the outside while boiling like a pressure cooker on the inside. Spoiler, that's doomed to fail. Step 1, impulse control, emotional detox. Want to reply instantly? Shoot a passive-aggressive dig? Check if she's online? Congrats. You're addicted to rejection dopamine. Treat it like any other addiction. A total detox. Count to 10. Get up. Wash some dishes if you have to. Every time you say no to your impulse, you grow your coldness muscle. And yes, it's a muscle. Train it, or stay its slave. Step 2. Redirect that energy. Get busy or get eaten alive. Are you obsessing over what she's doing? Imagining her with someone else? You're handing your mind over to the enemy. Want real coldness? Hit the gym, study, start a business, learn something new. Fill your mind with productive tasks. Because coldness isn't the absence of feeling, it's the presence of purpose. People with a strong purpose don't grovel emotionally. Step 3. Validation, only your own. You don't need likes, replies, or any external good job. Learn to observe your emotions, not obey them. Feeling lonely? Cool. Sit with it, breathe, but don't act on it. Emotions aren't commands, they're signals. And whoever learns to ride the wave instead of drowning in it becomes an emotional surfer, untouchable by manipulations. Coldness is a daily habit, not a fake persona. Want to be unshakable? Sleep well? Meditate. Cut out porn. Quit chasing cheap dopamine. Coldness isn't a switch you flip. It's a lifestyle. The man who trains self-control every day is a fortress unfazed by emotional crumbs, unaffected by a random, long-time no-see text. He chooses silence not to play games, but because peace is worth more than attention. Once you reach that point, you're no longer just a player. You're the entire damn board. She can try moving pieces, stirring up reactions, trying to reclaim power. But you're no longer driven by neediness. You're watching from the balcony as her emotional theater collapses. So brace yourself, because once she realizes she's lost control, she will come back. They always do, and that's where 90% of the suckers trip again. But not you, right? Let's see. Number 6, how to handle it when she comes back. Because yes, buddy, she will. Or how not to toss all your progress away for a cheap hey stranger. After you've executed your disappearing act with finesse, went cold, trained your mind, became the board, it's almost guaranteed she'll pop up again. Of course, it'll be subtle, like a snake in satin gloves. She won't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're the love of my life." She'll drop a casual hey, or randomly like an old photo, or send a random emoji at 2 a.m. Translation: do I still have you wrapped around my finger? And this is where 90% of men wipe out, slipping all over their leftover neediness. Overjoyed that she's back, they seize the moment to pour their hearts out, to reconnect, to open that sappy treasure chest. Congrats. Welcome back to the humiliation cycle. The rule's dead simple and dead serious. Be polite, but Arctic-level icy. Reply like you're responding, not like you've been waiting with bated breath. Something like, "All good here," in a tone that says, "Your presence changes nothing in my world." No more anger, but no more interest either. And that's the real emotional torture. If she tries to spark a conversation, you keep it short and direct like a busy CEO on a Tuesday morning. No friendly giggles, no. Remember that one time no vibe, no hey. And please, for the love of your dignity, never ever ask where she's been. Asking that basically screams, "I'm still your emotional slave, and I need your validation." Sad, pathetic, avoidable. Your power lies in not responding like you used to, in making it crystal clear that the game has flipped, and you honestly don't even play anymore. She'll feel it. She'll hate it. She'll want to regain control, and she'll see that reign is over. To keep this newly earned crown of ice, you gotta get this basic fact. As long as she was your entire universe, your world had one major weak spot. That ends now, because our next step is to multiply your options. Yep, dethrone her for good. It'll hurt her, it'll free you, and it's gonna be beautiful. Let's go. Number 7. Multiply your options and knock her off the throne. Or, how to dethrone the queen and put yourself on top of it all. Remember when you were so desperate and devoted, pouring your entire energy into that single woman who gave you scraps of attention. Meanwhile, you treated her like some modern-day goddess, and she sat comfy on the throne you built with sweat, anxiety, and unrealistic expectations. Newsflash: nobody appreciates what they fully control, and you, my emotionally naive friend, were more predictable than a sitcom rerun. Now take a deep breath, because here's the kicker. Multiplying your options doesn't mean turning into some thirsty creep who hits on everything that breathes. It means eliminating the emotional scarcity that's turning you into an attention-starved zombie. When you go all in on one woman, you're basically a hostage. One read receipt with no reply can make you question your entire existence. Sad, yes, but it's the truth, or it was, if you keep following this blueprint. Once you expand your sphere socially, emotionally, professionally, things change. You stop living for that "did you see my text" moment and start actually living. Because people with a life don't beg for crumbs. And those who live with ease have a magnetic pull. And that power doesn't scream, it just exists. Then her empire starts to crumble. The woman who was convinced you orbited around her will see you've got your own solar system now. You're no longer predictable. You're not exclusively hers. And that stings the ego like nothing else. Let's make one thing clear. Multiplying your options is about self-respect, not promiscuity. It's about protecting your self-esteem from the insanity of depending on one person's mood for validation. Wake up. The world's full of intriguing, gorgeous, smart women. So why treat one as a goddess just because she hasn't ghosted you yet? When you open your universe, the magic happens. You stop idolizing her, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. You realize you're the one with the real value. You are the prize. If she doesn't see that, her loss. You're surrounded by people who do or will be soon. In that fertile ground of expanded options and self-discovery, you finally start building genuine self-esteem. Without it, your disregard is just bad acting. But with it, you become a wall of stainless steel, baby. And guess what's next? The secret to building that rock-solid confidence. Because faking toughness on the outside is worthless if you're still sobbing inside for someone who barely remembered your name. On to our final step. You ready? Liar. But let's go anyway. Number 8. Bulletproof self-esteem. The best weapon against manipulation and the end of your emotional clown career. Real self-esteem, unlike what Instagram gurus preach, isn't puffing out your chest, acting alpha, and posting a motivational quote with a sunset pic. It's not chanting "I'm awesome" 10 times in the mirror hoping for a miracle. Real self-esteem is knowing your worth even when the world treats you like an extra. It's the unshakable conviction that you don't need anyone to choose you to be valuable. If your self-esteem depends on her replies, her likes, her mood, well done. You're a puppet on an emotional Wi-Fi connection. Read and ignored knocks you down. Her silence makes you question your entire being. One rejection feels like the apocalypse. Then you're not loving, you're begging like someone at the traffic light holding a "please validate me" sign. Your bulletproofing starts the moment you stop waiting for applause to know you matter. When you accept that what she does, says, or doesn't say, doesn't take away even a fraction of your worth. What it does change: your discipline, your attitude, your consistency with yourself. Want self-esteem? Start with tiny wins. The kind nobody sees but that build you from the inside out. Following through on your own promises. Not texting back when every cell in your body is dying to reach out. Keeping distance from anyone who messes with your peace. Making your workout, your job, your silence a priority. Every single day. That's how you lay each brick of your internal fortress. That's when, my friend, you realize you are the priority, and the world starts to fall in line. Not because the universe magically conspires, but because your posture changes. You start saying no without flinching. You spot emotional manipulation from a mile away, and you ain't falling for it again. You walk away not out of wounded pride, but out of pure, icy self-love. And once that happens, disregard stops being a tactic. It becomes the natural outcome. You don't snub people, you simply don't stoop. Because you no longer crave acceptance, you crave reciprocity. And if you don't get it, well, there's the door. At this level, coldness is no longer an effort. It's your new default setting. And to keep it there, you'll need a code, your unbreakable standard, your line that no one crosses. Not her. Not even you. That, my friend, is the stoic code of indifference. The final cheat sheet. The emotional fortress. And guess what? That's exactly what we're tackling in our last chapter. Buckle up. We're almost there. Number 9. The stoic code of indifference. Or how to become a monument of ice while the world melts in drama. Being stoic isn't about turning into an emotional psychopath or becoming a stone-cold, unfeeling robot. It's about having the near-divine ability to look at someone's provocation and think, really? That's all you got? Lame. It's choosing with surgical precision what deserves your energy. And what doesn't even deserve a notification. Here's the final playbook. No corny motivational quotes. Just a philosophy-laced slap in the face. Rule 1. Emotional reaction. Only if it's laughing on the inside. She vanished, tested you, then hits you with a, "Hey stranger," after ghosting you for months. She wants one thing, to see you lose your cool, to confirm you're still on her leash. And you, gonna give her a soap opera performance. Nah, you'll take a deep breath, reply or not, like you've got places to be and better things to do. Indifference is the new sexy. Don't feed the drama. Rule 2. Never show need, ever. Not even in your thoughts. Neediness seeps through the screen. You think you're being sweet, but you smell like desperation. You might as well be screaming, "Notice me, please." And that leads to disgust. Because nobody wants someone who offers themselves on a silver platter and begs to be chosen. Want respect? Stop acting like a starstruck fan. Rule 3. Value doesn't need explanation. It's imposed. Trying to justify your absence or explain your coldness? Quit it. Your worth isn't in your words. It's in your stance. Needing to justify yourself means you've already lost. Those who know they're valuable just are. Let everyone else scramble to understand. Rule 4. Never accept less than you give. Exactly. No half-baked attention. No conditional love. No part-time presence. You're whole, and you only deal with people who come whole too. If you're gonna accept crumbs, might as well go on an emotional fast. Silence and distance are powerful answers. Use them freely. This code is your shield against relapsing mind games and returning to that pathetic version of you we're burying today. And guess what? Now that you got it, either you use it or you slip right back into being the emotional clown nobody respects. The writing's on the wall. As long as you keep chasing, you'll get treated like trash. The minute you stop begging, stop proving, stop trying, you become the absence that weighs heavily, the silence that screams, the ghost she can't exorcise. You weren't born to be some extra in anyone's drama, not a second option, not an emotional spare tire. You were born to be the kind of man who doesn't need applause, because just by showing up, you change the entire vibe, and when you leave an echo. Now drop a "whoever wants me better catch up" in the comments if you get it. And send this video to that buddy who's still crawling after someone who treats him like dirt. Because stoic disregard isn't cruelty, it's freedom. And today, my brother, you got free. See you in the next one, standing firm, cold, and in control.